Please send us your reports, your sighting reports, any Bigfoot evidence you may find, your encounters. They're very important to us. You can email us at rmsobigfoot@gmail.com. That is rmsobigfoot@gmail.com. If you would like to see your sighting report on our blog, we may even make a video out of it, especially if we go into the area and check out the area where the sighting report took place. We'll make a video out of it. I would now like to go over Dr. Mike Johnson's Bigfoot evidence that he finds 5 months after Fred has his sighting experience. Dr. Mike Johnson writes, RMSO, email me and I'll send you some very clear photos of tracks 9,400 feet on top of a rugged mountain in Montana. They had clear toe impressions, extremely heavy, 6-foot stride, no drag out of deep impressions in snow, except for the first 2 toes, which corresponds with Dr. Jeff Meldrum's and other scientific assessments of stride and gait. No surface distortion of the tracks whatsoever, as they were broken through crusted snow with a clean shape edge. 2-day-old tracks, made 2 nights before I found them, headed towards extremely rugged, rocky canyon that can't be hiked without equipment. Trees, rock, and near vertical to vertical. RMSO responds, yes, we would like to view the photos of these Bigfoot tracks. Dr. Mike writes back, annotated photo. Red circle is deer tracks with legs breaks in the snow. The yellow circle is Sasquatch tracks. Blue, my normal stride, leaving 3 tracks. The purple circle, my maximum stretch stride at 6 foot tall and long legs for height. The snow when the Sasquatch walked through was more fresh, and then the surface froze, preserving the exact size of the tracks with no distortion at the surface. Nothing else could have made these tracks, 3 very clear tracks in stride, identical with opposing left to right hominid foot and clear toe impressions on 2 of the tracks. 1 track show evidence of Dr. Meldrum's description of the mid-tarsal break, and all tracks imprinted much heavier at the heel versus forefoot, demonstrating flexibility. The toe impressions were much more clear than the photos. Lightening the photos may help. Feel free to post with credit. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line. RMSL responds, thank you. Interesting. Some follow-up questions. What part of Montana? And mountain name if you wouldn't mind. Did you get a measurement? If so, can you give the estimate of the creature's footprint? To me, it appears to be 15 or 16 inches in length, estimating next to your boot. Dr. Mike responds, I didn't measure them. Based on my boot and the image, I'll do an estimation. They were at least 16 inches. The boots in the image are size 11s. The gait was at least 6 feet. My stretched gait is around 5 feet. It's possible it could have been running or a faster walking pace. It was in the southwest Montana at over 9,000 feet near the top of a mountain. Tracks crossed a 4-wheel drive road. I don't want to disclose exactly where, but I'll think about it and get back to you. The directions of the tracks were headed toward 3 steep canyons, near vertical to vertical with rocks, cliffs, and trees. Impossible to hunt. I'm a semi-retired surgeon and have scientifically studied the Sasquatch phenomenon for 12 years. I've studied Bill Munn's digitally restored version of the Patterson-Gimlin film frame by frame. You can clearly see specific muscles flexing with the gait, and those muscles and many anatomical features of Patty are identical or nearly identical with the Western land gorilla. It sure as hell isn't a man in the suit. Looking at all of the technical and scientific studies of the film and hair samples, there's scientifically no doubt the species exists, and I'd be happy to debate, and have online with several, any doctoral scientists regarding the existence of the species. When I get the time, I plan on writing a book and challenging any of the disbelieving, quote, belief is a Bigfoot experience, scientists to an open forum debate of scientific evidence. Many claim that there are very few Sasquatches. Even Dr. Meldrum state a very low number, 6,000, for a breeding population. People apparently have no clue how big Alaska, British Columbia, Alberta, and Montana are, as well as eastern Canada. There could be 50,000 Sasquatches in Alaska alone, and that would be a density of 1 Sasquatch for 13 square miles. Family units could have 1,000 square mile range in Alaska and never come within 100 miles of road or anything of that kind. There are a hell of a lot more than anyone besides me has ever suggested. They're 99.9% nocturnal, possess acute hearing, smell, and I speculate, a vibratory sense through their feet, as well as good eyesight. Sightings are only under extraordinary conditions for them, and that's why nearly all of the legitimate film clips are of mothers carrying infants or actively lactating like Patty. Anyway, thanks for your efforts. I ask all Sasquatch enthusiasts to keep their observation and assertions 100% scientific, and seems you are. RMSL responds, I really appreciate talking to you in the time that you documented your findings and emailing us the details. Our team has done many expeditions to southwest Montana because of the sighting reports there. What initially sparked my interest personally in that part of Montana, near the Idaho border, was the famous deadly Bauman Bigfoot encounter Teddy Roosevelt writes about. It took a couple of years of research and visits out there scouting around to find the actual location he wrote about. After finding the location, we like to try and visit it once or twice a year. We also actively search for sighting report locations near the Bauman location so that we can visit them and search for the creature and or evidence. Exciting to hear from you and see tracks in southwest part of Montana. Seems to be an active location for sightings presently and historically. Dr. Mike responds, I know the general location of the Bauman story. There are places in what we call windfall jungles, lodgepole pine windfall with new growth trees so thick you can't walk on the ground for 50 square miles, have to wither, crawl, or walk on the trees. Guys, me included, have accidentally drifted just into the fringes of these, and it takes a day to get out. In 2008, the Scapegoat Wilderness, my son and I had to go through just a couple of miles this crap, and it took us 8 hours. Several old-timers I knew growing up in Dillon, Montana said they both saw Sasquatches and found nests on the fringe of these areas with hare and scat. Many other, while hunting the fringes of these jungles, reported the classic strong, musty, rotten, wet dog smell and tracks. There's only one pass from Idaho to Montana, and if I recall correctly, they crossed from Idaho into Montana. The description given of the terrain perfectly fits this area. An even more direct point and scientifically sound account is David Thompson's 1811 account from the Athabasca River in Alberta, Canada. He was an experienced hunting guide and tracker, and the Indians with him were scared shitless and refused to go any further. He openly stated he had heard reports of such a creature, but dismissed it as fondness for the marvelous so common to mankind, until he saw 100 yards of fresh tracks. Amazingly, he describes a small nail at the end of each toe. Look at my photo. Couldn't believe I was seeing exactly what he described in 1811. A small nail at the end of one toe. Thanks again. I'm busy, but we'll get you more information as soon as possible. Eventually, I'm going to have the funding to do a recovery expedition. I'll hate to do it, but think one must be sacrificed to finally confirm the reality of the species. I'm confident I can find one using my own hunting techniques. There hasn't been even a reasonable hunt for one yet recorded. Bunch of BS and nonsense like wood knocking and whooping. Although in the dead of winter, up Blacksmith Fork Canyon out of Logan, Utah at 2 a.m., Finding Bigfoot team got a response from up on the canyon wall. Impressive, but won't convince anyone who doesn't already know they exist. Take care, Dr. Mike. Hey, Dr. Mike, we really appreciate your information on the evidence that you found. This type of stuff really keeps us going. After or about the same point in time that we got your evidence report and your photos, we got a Bigfoot sighting report in the same area from Fred Hill. He actually had a sighting near the Big Hole area, just a little bit north of that. And this is really close to the Bauman location, southwest Montana. So within 5 months of you finding these foot tracks, there was a really good Class A sighting, a historic location that Teddy Roosevelt, our late president, writes about. We've spent a lot of time researching the area, so I got excited when I got this report. Fred Hill writes RMSO. Have you heard of any sightings in southwest Montana in the Big Hole Valley? I was up by Pintler Lake near the Anaconda-Pintler Wilderness area in an area called Clam Valley this last summer and watched a large upright walking Sasquatch walk up a steep ridge. Just wondering if you have heard of any sightings in that area. RMSO responds, Hi Fred, yes, we have done many Bigfoot expeditions near Big Hole area because of the sighting reports there. We researched recent ones and all the way back to the deadly Bauman Bigfoot encounter well over 100 years ago. I'll put a link to the deadly Bauman Bigfoot encounter down in the description of this video. I would like to hear details of your sighting, year, month, time of day, how did it start, how did it end, and best description of the creature you recall, size, weight, color, etc. Excited to hear from you for the very reason we have been studying the surrounding areas of Big Hole for over 10 years now because of the Bigfoot activity there. Fred responds, It was 2019. Me and my dog hiked into Clam Valley. We were going to spend the day and camp over the night. It was about 8:30 a.m. in the morning. We seen a bull elk on the far side of the field and a mule deer doe in the middle by a small stream. It was like the forest got quiet. The elk and deer were both looking in the same direction toward a steep hill. I looked and saw a large kind of black-brown haired upright walking creature about 6'6", probably 600 pounds, that looked at me and my dog and then turned and started up and over the ridge. There was kind of a pungent kind of smell in the air. The deer and elk did not move until the creature was gone. This happened in late June. It was kind of a surreal experience. Thanks for your time. RMSO responds, Were you able to see the face? Was it human-like or more like another type of primate? Fred responds, Sort of in between a human and a primate. RMSO responds, Thank you, Fred. Dr. Mike Johnson documented Bigfoot tracks in southwest Montana just 5 months after your encounter. It appears to be a very active area, and our organization will keep up the search for this creature in those locations. We Bigfoot expedition to this part of Montana once or twice a year. We were just there this season, and we measured and documented a footprint that was right around 17 inches long with about an 8-inch toe splay near a structure. We were actually hiking around the Bauman area south of where your sighting took place, and Jenny spotted a structure, so we went and checked out this structure that just did not seem to have a human use. It was on a slope, so, making a shelter for primitive camping just did not make sense, and the logs were just massive. I'll put a link to that in this video so you guys can check that out. But then pointed straight at the structure was a fairly deep Bigfoot track. So that was pretty exciting. It's just a great area. I hope our viewers enjoyed a look at a Bigfoot sighting and evidence found in the same area. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.